Why Gwyneth Paltrow allows her kids to eat sweets before going to bed, but rules out carbs? What makes her think that missing classes is okay? And why Paltrow discourages her children from pursuing a career in entertainment? Hi, I'm Janet. Let's get all the answers right now. Watching TV in French or Spanish only. In 2013, Gwyneth Paltrow made headlines when it was reported that she urged her daughter Apple, who was 9 at the time, and son Moses, who was 7, to speak only in Spanish. The actress learned Spanish herself when she was a teenager, so she was trying to make sure both her kids grew up bilingual. She hired international nannies for Apple and Moses, who could teach them different languages. In an interview with Harper's Bazaar back in 2012, Gwyneth shared this about their family nanny. She's French, so she's teaching them French, and their previous nanny was Spanish, so they're fluent in Spanish. Later, Paltrow admitted that her children were allowed to watch TV in Spanish and French only. Moreover, she used to buy cartoons in French for them. You have to admit, it's quite a smart move to get the kids to learn a foreign language. Having perfect English accents. Back in 2010, Gwyneth Paltrow and her then-husband Coldplay frontman Chris Martin were raising their kids between London and New York. They went to school in London, and they came back to the US for holidays and summers. And the surprising result of this transatlantic living was that their accents became bizarre, as Gwyneth put it. Weirdly, my son is half Brooklyn and half English, and my daughter is completely American with me at home, but completely British at school. Apple's accent could even change in the middle of a conversation, and both Moses and Apple were using slang from both countries. So it's totally natural that Paltrow wanted her kids to speak in a less odd manner, preferably in a posh British accent, just like the characters from Downton Abbey, as Gwyneth reportedly adored the show. Cutting down on carbs. Known for her own strict eating and exercising rules, in 2013, Gwyneth revealed that she was determined to make her kitchen a pasta, bread, and rice-free zone for the children as well. She was certain that all of her family were intolerant of gluten. That's why Paltrow ruled out carbohydrates from their diet. However, later, the lifestyle guru loosened up on this rule, probably because, as she admitted, her family often had that specific hunger that comes with avoiding carbs. A couple of years later, Gwyneth proudly posted some homemade pasta she cooked while she was in Rome. In an interview with You magazine, the actress explained that, although she was still concerned about the dangers of processed and genetically modified food, she didn't believe in ruling out any kind of food. You can't tell a kid, no Coke, no cake. It's not realistic, Paltrow said. It's about trying to augment that with something healthy. So Gwyneth makes sure that Apple and Moses always have plenty of healthy snacks at home, like fresh fruit, raw nuts, carrots, and hummus. Having dessert before bed. Paltrow admits that while she tried to bring up her children on the right foods, the lure of Oreos and cotton candy outweighed the lure of carrots and hummus as Apple and Moses grew older. Gwyneth once wrote on her Goop blog that she's totally fine with her kids having a sweet treat before bed, but with one exception, namely, as long as they eat healthy foods during the rest of the day. After all, it's important to treat yourself every once in a while. Oreos became a family favorite, so the strict rules had to be relaxed a bit. That's all part of childhood. And I love Oreos too, explained the actress. Obsessing over what your kids are eating is not a good idea after all. Having quality family time. The Goop founder is enjoying spending time with her children. She takes a bath every single night as a part of her health and beauty routine. However, in 2011, it raised some eyebrows as Gwyneth revealed that she allowed Apple and Moses to bathe with her. At the time, her daughter was about 7 years old and her son was 5. But I don't think that this tradition continued for a long time. However, the tradition of having family dinners still lives on, despite Paltrow's divorce from Chris Martin. Having family bonding days is an amazing thing to do, and they continue to spend a lot of time together. Kids just want to see their parents around the dinner table, basically, so we try to keep that, Paltrow explained. Even though Gwyneth is now married to film producer Brad Falchuk, the extended family keep getting together. Playing video games. It seems like the strict rule about TV doesn't apply to video games. Surprisingly, Paltrow's children got their first game console when they were 7 and 5. The actress soon regretted letting them have it, though, as she couldn't get them to stop. Last year, Gwyneth admitted that she had ongoing negotiations with her then 13-year-old son over his video screen time. "We have a Fortnite situation in my house," she confessed. Well, now we know that Moses behaves just like many other teenage boys, and Paltrow has problems handling his screen time like any other mom. Skipping classes sometimes. When Apple was 6, her mother allowed her to pretend she was sick so that they could spend some time out together. Gwyneth and Apple went out to lunch, and then to a beauty salon. But why skip classes and not wait until the weekend? Although Paltrow has been taking time off from work to focus on her family, that year she starred in the movie Country Strong and was going on a lot of business trips for her newly published cookbook. So, she had to be away from her kids for much more time than usual and was eager to have some mother-daughter time. Spending time outdoors. The mother of 2 insists that spending their time outside in the sun is good for her kids. It was one of the main reasons why she and her then-husband Chris bought their California home. Just to have my kids be in the sun every day, picking avocados, going for a swim. Initially, it was supposed to last for only 2 years or something, until Apple and Moses went to high school. But as far as we know, they still live in their LA mansion. Probably, the health benefits of getting enough vitamin D and having a lot of sun-soaked fruits outweighed the benefits of having a perfect British accent. Going to private school. Apple Martin attends the elite Harvard Westlake School in Los Angeles, which has an impeccable reputation of sending students to top colleges. In 2017, there was a scandal involving students of this school making racial and homophobic slurs on social media. However, it didn't convince Gwyneth Paltrow that her daughter should switch schools, as her father Chris Martin suggested. He wanted Apple to go to a public school in Santa Monica with an excellent music program instead of Harvard Westlake, because his daughter is a very talented musician, just like him. Paltrow was reportedly outraged and disgusted by the behavior of the students, but apparently trusted the school's president, who promised to properly handle the situation. Choosing another career than their parents. Both of Paltrow and Martin's children are definitely talented and musically inclined. Apple and Moses have joined their father on stage several times, including at the 2016 Glastonbury Festival in England. However, their mother doesn't want them to follow a career that focuses on performance, so she discourages her children from getting into entertainment. And she's definitely proud of Apple, who recently got her first job as a cashier at a retail store. Posting no photos on social media. Apple was the last one of her friends to get a phone. Sounds like Paltrow is very strict about social media, right? But in fact, Apple was only 12 at the time, and since then, she's been a pretty active user. Of course, all of her pages are private, but according to Paltrow, she texts like crazy. Still, the Goop founder is very controlling about photos of Apple and Moses. She doesn't allow any public pictures of them, and posts their photos on Twitter and Instagram extremely rarely. The unusual exceptions of this rule are their birthdays. In the beginning of April, she posted several photos of her son Moses, who turned 14, and quite recently, photos of Apple, who is 16 already. Keeping the faith. Gwyneth was raised both Jewish and Christian. Her late father, a film producer, Bruce Paltrow, was Jewish, and her mother, actress Blythe Danner, is a Christian. And although Paltrow confessed it was such a nice way to grow up, she decided to raise her own children in the Jewish faith. The decision was definitely influenced by one event. In 2011, Gwyneth appeared on the show Who Do You Think You Are? And learned that her family came from a long line of influential East European rabbis. She's even dubbed herself the original Jewish mother because of her preferences in life. Creating a meal for my family and friends, sitting together, eating, laughing and talking, that's when I'm happy. I am the original Jewish mother. Helping out with the business. If you've already learned, Gwyneth Paltrow discourages her kids from following her and Chris Martin's footsteps. What would she prefer them to do? The Goop founder makes sure that Apple and Moses are involved in other activities besides performing. She wants them to be self-made instead of relying on a celebrity status. The kids help Paltrow in the kitchen from a very early age. Several times, she proudly said that her son has developed a passion for cooking. This April, Gwyneth shared a video of Moses making a dipping sauce for dumplings during the lockdown. Also, the actress and businesswoman encourages her kids' entrepreneurial spirit. She could sometimes be seen helping her kids sell 100% organic cookies and lemonade with no sugar added in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood of LA. Gwyneth's daughter is a big fan of her mother's company, Goop. When she was 13, Apple was helping her mom out behind the jewelry counter at the LA Goop store and consulting with customers about the products. She also takes part in keeping up with beauty trends and creating beauty products. So we can safely assume that Apple Martin has business skills, and one day she will be able to take over her mother's company. Do you still think that Gwyneth Paltrow is a super controlling mom? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and stay super awesome!